to the Superhumanistic podcast, where we talk about all things health, wellness, and longevity. We are your hosts. I'm David.
I'm Jessica.
Thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit that subscribe and follow button on this podcast so you never miss another episode. We put out one episode a week on Saturdays. Make sure that you check us out on YouTube and Instagram. And don't forget to share this podcast with someone that you love who's also on a health journey. Last week, we talked about how lower body strength, doing exercises like squats, really improves your brain health. So if you want to learn more about that lower body and brain connection, go back and listen to last week's episode. This week, we're going to be talking about some body parts that aren't normally worked out.
Yeah, so really, I have a question for you, actually. When we think of working out, what body parts do you normally think of?
Just all the basics, your chest, your arms, your legs, your back, abs.
Right, exactly. And that's typically what I think of as well, and what we work out on a weekly basis, right? Like Monday's always this day, Tuesday we're gonna do back, Wednesday we're gonna do chest. Like those are the main body parts that I think of as well. However, today we're gonna talk about 4 overlooked body parts that deserve just as much attention as what those other body parts.
Yeah, we'll be getting into some body parts that are critical when it comes to aging, and almost nobody works these out intentionally, at least. So that's what we'll be diving into.
Yeah, and those body parts are?
That could be your brain, your lungs, your wrists, and your toes.
I know, toes. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Well, we do yoga, and our yoga teacher does have you work out your toes every now and again.
Stretching them.
Stretch them, move them.
Very true. So let's start with the obvious one that also somehow gets ignored, our brains.
Yeah, your brains thrive in novelty. They thrive whenever you challenge your brain. So it's really just putting in that effort, because your brain is a muscle as well. And if it's not used, you're going to weaken it.
Yeah. And I caught myself doing this morning, right? And I think a lot of us can say we're guilty of this, whether it be what we do every morning when we wake up or what we just do throughout our day. But the dooms scrolling social media, that's not brain training. Watching TV while relaxing, also not brain training.
Yeah, brain workouts are really going to be learning something new, maybe learning a new language. I know you're using some sort of app to learn Spanish right
now.
Duolingo. I hear the alerts and the chimes going off all the time when you get a word correctly. So that's a great way to really exercise your brain. Also, reading complex material. Also, playing strategy games is another one, or even navigating a new environment without GPS, which I would definitely get lost. Yeah. And it's not like back in the day where you could ask some stranger for directions or something. So be careful with that one. But
right. But like using your surroundings, right, to figure out, oh yeah, this building or this street name, remembering those things. There's also some movement-based brain trainings. So think about dancing or yoga, right? That balancing work, you're really having to concentrate. Our instructor always tells us, and I've always learned, don't look at yourself in the mirror, look at a spot ahead of you and really focus on that spot to be able to keep that balance. So sports also require coordination, and that reaction time. So really, most sports are going to require you to have some sort of coordination with your team and are a quick reaction time.
Yeah, guys, so the takeaway here is if your brain feels uncomfortable, that's probably a good sign. I know in yoga class, you try to use the opposite, hand hold or whatever you're doing in terms of, hey, I cup my hands this way, cup them the other way. So you're using the opposite, left and right as well. And also just even brushing your teeth with your left hand or something like that is another way to really make your brain feel a little bit uncomfortable, which helps in these cases.
Yeah. All right. So we talk about heart health as well. But what about our lungs and the capacity that our lungs the full capacity that our lungs are capable of.
Yeah, your lungs determine how efficiently oxygen gets delivered to every cell in your body, including your brain, which we just talked about.
Mm-hmm. So most of us breathe very shallow throughout our day. Like our focus really isn't on our breath as we're going throughout our day-to-day. Even on the weekends, if we're at home, we're not thinking about our breath. So it's often shallow, stress-based breath that we're doing all day long. And then over time, that actually limits our lung elasticity. So the ability to use our full lung capacity.
Yeah, you're training your lungs could really just be as simple as intentional breathing. We've talked a lot about Wim Hof, and we do Wim Hof regularly throughout our week. So if you want to learn more about that breathing technique, you can listen to a previous episode or check out Wim Hof on YouTube, which is the video that we watch to follow along with and complete that breathing technique. That's a good one. You want to focus also on nasal breathing. So that's just breathing through your nose, keeping your mouth closed. It's good to focus on doing that when you're walking around the neighborhood or something like that, so you can build up that lung capacity with that nasal breathing. And you should only be breathing through your mouth whenever you're going through a high intensity workout, such as at the gym or doing some actual cardio. But if you're walking around, try to focus on breathing through your nose only, and that's going to help with this. But it's also going to help you get better sleep as well. Whenever you can breathe through your nose better and build that capacity, that allows your body to go into a much deeper sleep. So super important to focus on that. Also just short bouts of breath holds. So I don't know, dunk yourself in the bathtub and hold your breath.
So I will also link in to our Instagram. So if you follow us on social media, or even if you don't follow us on social media, please follow us on our Instagram. I'll link in that Wim Hof video for you guys as well. But cardio too, like my husband was saying, helps with our lung capacity, building that elasticity up, because you're pushing yourself slightly to where you're out of breath. That's going to allow us to use our lungs to the full capacity.
Yeah, whenever you have stronger lungs, that's just going to equal better endurance. You're also going to have a calmer nervous system and be able to get that better sleep, as I mentioned.
Yeah. So next is another area that I don't really think about, although it makes sense because you do use it for many of our workouts and we use it throughout our day constantly, and that's our wrists.
Yeah, really, people don't think about their wrists until you're either trying to get off the floor, you're using them in an awkward way to lift something, or hopefully catching yourself during a fall, although be careful with that. I have broken my wrist before catching myself from a fall, and that's not a fun recovery there.
Yeah, so modern life does destroy our wrist strength. So if we really think about it, we're using our wrists constantly, even lifting just to drink a glass of water or whatever it is you're drinking. Typing and scrolling on our phones, we're using our wrist, our fingers. And then gripping devices all day is also using our wrists' power. But we're not moving our wrists through full range of motion with those different movements.
Yeah, you want to be careful with your wrists. It's really just about those small, simple movements, whether it's wrist circles, extension or flexion exercises, light resistance training, or even hanging from a bar, which has multiple benefits. We like to hang from a bar to also stretch out your back as well, and just helps adds length to your spine and hopefully prevents you getting shorter as you age. And also it's good to do the flexion and extension exercises, which I like to do at the gym, where you're just moving your wrists up and then down, and then you flip them, and then you do this as well. That also helps your forearms.
Yeah, so when we have better, healthier wrists, then we're able to grip better, catch ourselves if we were to be falling. But grip strength is strongly associated with overall longevity as well.
All right, that brings us to our final segment, the toes. Everybody's been waiting on the edge of their seat for the conversation about toes.
Right, so, toes. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Let's talk about that. Probably the most ignored body part of all.
Yep. So our toes are literally our foundation, right? Our feet are what hold us up throughout our day. We walk, we constantly are using our toes, little to our thinking process throughout the day. I'm not like thinking, oh, my toes are moving right now. I just do it. But our toes literally are our foundation. They influence how we are balanced, our posture, what type of gait we have, even alignment with our knees and hips.
Yeah, it's good to walk around without shoes on and let your feet hit the ground, but most people put their obviously feet into shoes, which just makes them passive passengers on your trip through life.
So what are some of those workouts that you can do for your toes? Spreading them. So when you at the end of the day or in the morning when you wake up, literally just spread your toes as like one of the workouts that you're doing in the morning. Towel scrunches. So see if you can pick up a towel with your toes. Barefoot walking, like my husband was saying, simply walking around the house barefoot or going outside in the grass barefoot. I'm not a big fan of like those people that walk around all barefoot all the time, where it's like on the sidewalks or in the streets. Like just be careful with that. There are also lots of items that people throw out that can cut your feet. So just be careful with that one. But barefoot walking, balancing exercises, of course, simply spending time out of restrictive footwear.
Yeah, so the bottom line there, stronger toes are going to improve your stability. They're going to reduce your risk of falling as you get older. So it's just incredibly important as we age.
So putting it all together now, what we love about this idea is that it reframes our fitness.
Yeah, you're just really not looking to be fit in terms of reframing your fitness. It's about functionality. It's about resilience and longevity.
And it's not about long hours in the gym. It's, spending that time and being intentional with the time that we are spending with working out.
So train your brain with challenge, train your lungs with breath, train your wrists with movement, and train your toes by reconnecting to the ground.
If this episode made you rethink your workouts, that's the goal.
All right. So if that's the goal, we always want to be more superhumanistic. So it's not about doing more. It's about training what actually matters so you can have that longevity as you age.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure that you are sharing it with someone that you love or someone that you're like, ooh, yeah, let's make sure that they never skip the gym. So I want to make sure they're also getting in that full range of workouts, making sure that they also don't forget their toes.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit that follow and subscribe button on this podcast and check us out on YouTube. Stay curious, stay intentional, because that's how you're going to become more superhumanistic. We'll see you next time.
Bye.